What is good, YouTube, man? How is everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Listen, you guys, we've got ourselves a little bit of a nice topic to talk about really quick. Nothing too crazy, something quick, short, and I'll let you get on with your days, man. But look, as you can see by the title, by the thumbnail, I want to talk about Josh Jacobs, man, because it really seems like outside looking in, the man is unsettled. He's kind of undecided. Now, I do want to kick things off with I don't think as fans we should be worried about what's going to happen this year with Josh Jacobs, okay? I think that Jacobs will ultimately, worst comes to worst, gets franchise tagged and ends up playing only one more season with the Las Vegas Raiders. But I do think that he will be here for at least one more year under that franchise tag. But let's talk about what we all came here for, and that's his recent comments on social media and kind of speculating what everything is going on, right? So we know that earlier on in the offseason earlier on in the season, when we went on a run of losing 3, 4, 5 games in a row, Josh Jacobs was asked by the media what's going on, how is he feeling, and he said that he's honestly tired of losing. He doesn't know why it keeps happening, and that the result hasn't been there for him these last few years, right? Now, we know that him coming from Alabama, he's used to winning a lot of football and a lot, and being in big-time games. Coming into the NFL with the Raiders, he's only played in one playoff game, I believe. Yeah, just one playoff game, and it didn't go too well for us. So there's that. That's how he was feeling during the season. But most recently, you fast forward up until now, just yesterday, a few days ago, he did mention that it has to make sense for him. It's about football, but it's also about life as well. Those were things that he mentioned a few days ago, if not yesterday. And I think he's completely right. I think that if you look around the league and you see what's going on, it absolutely has to make sense for himself, but also has to make sense football-wise for himself as well. And I think that in that he could be hinting at money, but at the same time, I think he's also hinting at the organization, right? If it has to make sense for football, then it has to make sense in the terms of winning. And we're going to get to that because he also mentioned that today. So I think that Josh Jacobs is completely in the right. He is a player that just had 2,000 yards of offense this year, and he doesn't really know how to feel, right? It doesn't look like the Raiders have maybe offered him a big contract. Maybe the Raiders are hesitant. We know that the Raiders did decline his 5th-year option, which is what's allowing him to be this free agent this offseason instead of next year. But here's what I have to say. After looking up a few numbers, I did find out that a franchise tag this year for a running back is not a lot of money. It's only $10.1 million and could be up to close to around 12. So it's not that expensive at all. If you keep it around $10 million, a player that had 2,000 yards of total offense this year, that is a very, very good deal, and you should take that. You should absolutely take that. A franchise tag should be a no-brainer, right? Now, today we saw that a lot of awards have been given out across the league. We saw that the finalists for a few positions happened. And today, when the finalist list of Offensive Player of the Year candidates, there was no Josh Jacobs, there was no Devontae Adams. So, as a captain, or I don't know if Max is a captain, but as a teammate, Max Crosby went on social media and he went on to say, I don't know how Josh Jacobs and Tay Adams are not finalists for the Offensive Player of the Year award, which I agree. I agree with that. But Josh Jacobs actually went on to reply himself with, we got to win games, bro. Like, that's exactly how he replied. We got to win games. And then he also hit him with the emoji. You feel me? So, Josh Jacobs completely understands the situation, right? To me, he seems very knowledgeable about the business side of things, his contract, and he seems very knowledgeable about what he wants for himself in terms of football, right? Remember, he says it's got to make sense for him and also make sense for football. So we know that to him is money. And football is winning games and getting that ultimate goal, which is that Super Bowl. So here's what I have to say. Like I kicked it off at the beginning of this video, I think that as a fan base, we shouldn't be worried about Jacobs leaving this year. He'll get franchise tag, worst comes to worst. But it does suck that we may not have Josh Jacobs locked in long term, because we heard his frustration throughout the season when he said that the result isn't there and it hasn't been there for the past few years. Sounds like a player that's fed up. On top of that, when you get a big award, or when you're looking at big time awards coming down at the end of the year, and one of your teammates goes, "Man, I don't know how you're not one of the top guys," and your response is, "We got to win." It's somebody that's frustrated. It's somebody that actually understands what's going on in terms of inside the playing field. So my thing with Josh Jacobs, it seems like he's unsettled right now with the whole situation, as he should be, right? There's no way that we should, as fans, expect Josh Jacobs to have it all figured out after having the best career of his life, not just in the NFL, of his life. After having the best season of his career of his life, and now is being put in front of him probably one of the biggest decisions he now has to face in his life, because there's big time contracts that have to come into play. And there's also basically the outcome on what he wants to do with the rest of his career, right? Does he want to stay in the silver and black? We know that he loves it here. We know that he mentioned that he wants to be here next year. He has also said that as well. But like I said, seems unsettled. But at the same time, it's completely understandable, man. Let me know what you guys think about Josh Jacobs, the whole situation. Do you guys think that he should have at least been a finalist for the award of the Offensive Player of the Year? I definitely think he should have. But I think he's also absolutely right that awards come with winning games, and we just didn't win enough. So shout out to Josh Jacobs. He's keeping it true to himself. Hopefully he makes a decision on what's going to happen, and hopefully the Raiders and him and his party can come to an agreement, and maybe we can have Josh Jacobs locked in under a contract for many more than just 1 year. And I would love to see that. But let me know what you guys think about the whole thing in the comment section down below. Raider Nation, as always, I love y'all. Stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm out, you guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Death Star, where our opponent's dreams come to die.